Hi, my name is Barry Manandi and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport podcast.
Zimbabwe's finest radio. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It's a very good evening. Welcome to it. It's ZiFM Sport on a Friday when we preview the weekend for you. A weekend that is headlined by, of course, the Australian Grand Prix in Formula One and, of course, the CAF Champions League right here on the continent. And no doubt every interested footballing eye was trained upon the UEFA Champions League draw. FC Platinum will be missing three key players when they wrap up their CAF Champions League group campaign against Esperance at Barbourfields tomorrow. Mercedes and Ferrari renewed their rivalry when they square off during the first race of the new Formula One season at the Australian Grand Prix on Sunday. And in the beautiful game, we lead this weekend's action with that UEFA Champions League draw, which served up a tasty quarter-final matchup between Manchester United and Barcelona. Here to serve up a show is Mike Madura, Alois Bunjira, Chris Gray, and me, Barry Manandi. On production is, of course, Shonta Firenyika.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Right, FC Platinum will be without the influential midfielder Kelvin Madzongwe for their final CAF Champions League group match against Esperance at Barbourfields tomorrow. Madzongwe, the only infield player to have played the entire 90 minutes of all their matches since the start of the campaign, is serving suspension together with Gift Bello and Elvis Moyo, who was red-carded in the last match against Orlando Pirates. Pure Platinum play anchor the group standings with just 2 points, which they managed in the home and away draws against Orlando Pirates. Esperance at Barbourfields, very different proposition, Bunj. And you got to think to yourself, with nothing to lose, you'd like to see an FC Platinum similar to what came out against Orlando Pirates. Just have fun.
Yeah, I think they need to go out and have fun. You know, they've got nothing to lose. They're out of the tournament already, and you know they're playing Esperance. These are the big guns of African football, and to just get a respectable result can actually boost their morale going into. Remember, we spoke about it. They are going back into this competition in August, so it boosts their morale, and you know they earn respect from the other teams that they will be meeting in the first round or in the other rounds of the next edition. If they do well against Esperance, they gain that respect, so that you know some teams, they don't just come with confidence at them. You know, confidence is a lot. You know, it makes a team play better, and it makes the other team, you know, play a little bit badly and jittery. So I think it's good for their confidence, doing well against Esperance and looking into the next edition in August.
It's a very different FC Platinum lineup, though, compared to the one that ran out against Orlando Pirates, because missing those three key players, Madzongwe, Elvis Moyo, Gift Bello, that's virtually the spine of the team. And Kelvin Madzongwe is so impactful in the heart of that midfield. He played every single minute, and missing this one due to suspension.
Yeah, absolutely. But it gives a chance to the other players to be involved. The other players to stake a claim as well for places in the upcoming Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season 2019. And it also give Norman Mapeza an opportunity to assess who's who in the zoo, who's good enough to compete at this level, because Esperance are the defending champions in the CAF Champions League. They are one of the teams to beat. They are one of only two teams that have qualified so far for the quarterfinals alongside Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. And so they're looking to retain their crown. And one of the things that Esperance will do do when they come here. They'll try and come and assert their dominance, as the better footballing club. But they will not be taking this game very lightly. Momentum is key in competitions of this nature, and also pride is always at stake whenever a North African nation visits any other part of the continent. So they won't come to play. They will come and they will be in business.
Absolutely. And Esperance themselves were a bit bitter that CAF had decided to put the match at Mandava. They obviously prayed some very strong prayers and the prayers were answered, because now the game is at Barbourfields, and Barbourfields is a venue that hasn't necessarily delivered for FC Platinum, because they haven't got a positive result. They haven't got a win there throughout this campaign. And Esperance, as Mike points out, coming out to do business, they'll be happy with that decision.
They'll be really happy with that decision, and it's going to work to their advantage big time. And also, if you take a look at their rants on Twitter at CAF, straight after that announcement was made that match would be played at Mandava, they were not happy with it. I'm not sure what they did exactly to make sure that they lobby and get that match out of Mandava, because I'm sure they know exactly what a home atmosphere does for a match like this one. But having watched them in Tunisia, I would be really glad if FC Platinum managed to walk away with a draw in this particular match, because they are playing at home. But having watched that first initial match in Tunisia, likelihood is it's gonna be a bit of a hiding.
Yeah, Bunju pointed out that these are the kings of African football, defending champions. They played like it when FC Platinum visited them in Tunisia, albeit in an empty stadium. They hardly got out of third gear, but were still good enough to get the result against FC Platinum. If they engage all of their gears, it could be brutal.
Yeah, that's the danger, and we are all scared of that. We're scared of them engaging into that top gear. They didn't play well against FC Platinum in Tunisia, but they still kept FC Platinum at bay. FC Platinum never created even one chance, not even a shot at goal. And now imagine if they engage top gear and they play well. They are a very calm, calculated team, and technically I watched them. They are very good. Once they decide that they really want to play, I don't think that FC Platinum will stand a chance.
Mikey, you're Norman Mapeza for 24 hours. How do you approach this one?
It's well, to be honest, FC Platinum are out of it, so they're not playing for anything other than pride. So in this game, I think I would probably try and see how Platinum goes if they go toe to toe with a superior opponent. Playing at home, playing at Barbourfields. I know it's not Mandava, but the truth is, FC Platinum are going to have to think about other things around Mandava. While Mandava remains a facility that I believe can host games on the continent, the supporting facilities in Zhishavane do not cater.
Like accommodation.
They do not cater for a team to visit Zhishavane at this level of competition, and that's always going to be something that other teams can use against FC Platinum to say, okay, you know what, you've ticked off the stadium, but the accommodation is simply not good enough. They're just, I think, a couple of lodges there, or hotels if you call them. There's Runde, and then there's Porte. And then when it comes to matches of this magnitude, you have to think not just about the team you're hosting, you also have to think about the match officials and the support officials and all that as well. So Zhishavane does not have those facilities, and so teams can easily point to that and use it as a get out of jail card to say, hey, let's go to Bulawayo, because Bulawayo can cater for all that. So getting back to this game, if I were Norman Mapeza, I'd go for it. I'd love to see him give Gordon Mugira a stab, to be honest. Give him 90 minutes, because you bought him. Try and use him, see what he can offer against one of the big boys. Don't try and start testing him out when you're playing the likes of Manika Diamonds here. He's going to be good enough. He's going to be good enough because he has played at that level, and he knows how to beat the best in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, that's why he got them.
But test him against the continental opposition and see what he can do, not over 15 minutes as an impact.
Would you play him in the centre?
No. I would love to see him play as a fullback. I would love to see him play as a right back, so that he can show what he can do in his favoured position.
I think that's his best position. He's a right back.
Right back, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And he can bomb on. He can do all sorts of things. He can take men on. He can subtract, and he can cross a bit. So a very good player that. And it'll be interesting to see if Norman Mapeza actually takes that on. Let us know your thoughts. Our WhatsApp number 0731 168 045. We would love to hear your receive Yeah, I would love to receive your hashtags Profeeds Trivia if you want to participate in that competition a bit later on. But straight after you send us the hashtag, send us your message as part of the same thread as to what you think of FC Platinum taking on Esperance this weekend.
Hi, this is Benjamin Locke. I'm on the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Let's give you the rest of your local sports news roundup, starting with tennis, where Zimbabwe's top-seeded player Thabo Ncube powered his way to the semi-finals of the International Tennis Federation tournament after beating Belgian Alexander Stockbrooks 6-3, 3-6, 6-2 at Bulawayo Country Club. The United States of America-based Ncube will now come up against South African Tatinda Motetwa to battle for a berth in the final. Motetwa dismissed Canadian Hus Ali Faisal 6-love, 6-2 in his quarter-final tie. Over to boxing, where Zimbabwe's boxing superstar Charles Manucci returns to the ring in May for an international fight as he begins to wind down on his glorious career that gave him fame and a fortune. The former World Boxing Council silver welterweight champion will face off with Argentinian Alejandro Zampredi at the Harare International Conference Center on Africa Day, May the 25th. The boxers will be contesting for an International Boxing Federation Intercontinental Lightweight title. We wrap it up with athletics news. We're promising Zimbabwean sprinter Kundai Maguranyanga is walking on cloud 9 after he was named the Men's Athlete of the Year at Drake University. This follows his record-breaking feats during the just-ended collegiate indoor track and field season in the United States of America. Maguranyanga, a sophomore second-year student, if you don't know what sophomore means, was named the Men's Athlete of the Year after being named the Freshman of the Year in the 2018 outdoor season. Maguranyanga sent tongues wagging at Drake University when he won both the men's 60 and 200 meter titles at the Missouri Valley Conference Indoor Track and Field Championship last month.
Qualcomm, the home of great food, celebrates its 75th birthday. As a thank you to all our customers, we have amazing price cuts on all your favorite products. Enjoy unbelievably reduced prices on our frozen boerewors, breakfast and ready-to-eat sausages. Celebrate 75 years of wholesome, tasty goodness. Available at all leading retail stores and Qualcomm shops nationwide. Qualcomm, 75 years of greatness.
Tiles is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and we are slashing prices by up to 20% on all our ceramic tiles, porcelain tiles, and our laminate flooring. Yes, you heard right, 20%. Visit us at 5 Samora Michelle Avenue and our state-of-the-art showroom and fully stocked warehouse at 80 Simon Mazoredze Road. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Don't miss out on this crazy offer. Hurry while stocks last.
Need mileage for your business? La Decima Print House is your all-in-one printing solution. Your one-stop shop litho printing for all your flyers, brochures, newsletters, church posters, company profiles, annual reports, all quick BizHub digital stationery printing, dissertations and general, photocopying services, HP large format printer for office signage branding, vehicle branding, and banners, DTG M6 industrial digital t-shirt and fabric printing, corporate gifts, and many more. La Decima Print House has packages that can be tailor-made to suit your business's unique printing needs. To place your order, call La Decima Print House on 0772 413 603 or 242 446 466, or visit us at Unit 9B, 75 Roberts Drive, Masasa, Harare. La Decima Print House. If you can think it, we can ink it.
Crescent Play is unlike TV. Crescent Play stay entertained all day. Online streaming channels on your TV. For kids, entertainment. Movies, sports, and music. Gaming, travel, and more. Premium entertainment
Get your Quessa Play device for just $59. Quessa Play. It's unlike TV.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. From sunny Melbourne to the streets of Monaco, the deserts of Bahrain to the jungles of Brazil, get up to speed on the Formula One report.
All right, Sebastian Vettel believes Mercedes may have been playing games in winter testing after the world champions dominated the opening day of Formula One 2019. Despite predicting Ferrari quickest during the pre-season running would be half a second ahead, Lewis Hamilton was quickest in both of today's practice sessions for the Australian Grand Prix. Asked if he was surprised by Mercedes' fast form, Vettel dismissed the pre-season pessimism from the Silver Arrows camp as nonsense. Let's get the pre-race thoughts of Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton.
We've definitely got something that we can work with this year. Whether or not we'll be quickest this weekend or at the beginning of the year, or who knows, I really have no idea. It might be closer than we think. It might be a bigger gap than we think. We don't know what they've got up their sleeve, but regardless of whatever foot, we're going to make sure we start on the right foot at least, either way, and just keep building on it. Everyone is hungry, you know. The Red Bulls, Max is obviously hungry to win. You've got Sebastian is hungry to change the result from last year and improve on that. Ferrari are hungry, but we're just as hungry, so you know, it's going to be exciting for sure.
There's a rule change. There's a point for fastest lap in the race itself. Do you like meddling with the rules? I mean, you respect the traditions of Formula One. Will it add something or not? That I mean, if
there's 21 points available, so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. I think 21 points is a lot, so who utilises them will be interesting to see.
Lewis Hamilton fastest in practice, and the Silver Arrows looking like they got more pace than they let us on to believe. I think even on this show we were saying that Ferrari certainly had the pace. The Silver Arrows proving that they've got a bit about them. Whether it'll be enough, because I still think that Ferrari has a very good car. We'll see who the better driver is, Vettel or Hamilton. Vettel at the moment not unhappy.
I've never really been one to read anything into the thing. The practice sessions.
Okay.
It all comes down to qualification. The qualification for the grid is what matters. So I think we'll get a clearer picture tomorrow when they're qualifying for the starting places.
Right.
That's when the drivers put their best foot forward, or put their foot on the hammer, on the pedal, and they go. So the practice sessions, you know, they're still tweaking one or two things, still checking one or two things, but at qualification they're at their best, and it's almost like they're in race mode. So I'll read quite a bit into where the cars end up on the grid for the first race, and of course the qualification will be on tomorrow.
Absolutely, and we were hearing those questions about the rule changes, Chris, about the fastest lap getting the extra point, but also the fact that the cars now, they've been modified in order to influence overtaking. So you got to think to yourself now, yes, the grid is going to be important, but now even if you've got pole, there's a good chance that you may not have the procession that it was last season.
Absolutely, and I think it puts a little bit more pressure on the drivers as well. Then you get to see who the master really is, because the car can do one thing, but when you have that scenario and you have the issues with the track as well, then you get to see who is the brilliant driver, because there's a lot more technical aspect to it than just sitting behind the wheel. You have to think really hard, and there's a lot of tactical know-how that they need to know. So in this scenario, we get to see who the driver really is.
100%. Now the race will be held at Albert Park, which is the venue of the season opener for 2019, the traditional home for the first race since it first arrived on the calendar to replace Adelaide for 1996. It's technically a street circuit, albeit a fast one, around a large lake in the center of the picturesque park. It's a race capable of throwing up some odd results, whether it's down to unreliability of new cars or the relative rustiness of drivers and race crews. It's also the race where the pit stops and all the pre-season positivity from every every team is finally put under the spotlight.
Sean, throw you a boomerang.
Yeah, absolutely. And now all the talk and all the nonsense goes out the window, and now we finally see where the rubber meets the road out in Australia. And you got to think to yourself, Ferrari have got to do it now.
Not necessarily.
Team Mercedes.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
I think you mean the first race?
No. I mean the season.
season.
As
Yes,
the championship.
yes,
As the
yes,
championship.
yes. I fancy them.
Yeah.
I fancy them. I think Ferrari will probably win the constructors' title as well, because I think Leclerc is going to be, like Paz said a couple of days ago, Leclerc is the dark horse. He looks the business. This
You think
youngster.
he's going to come from nowhere?
Yeah,
and
I don't think he's
blow
going to win the championship.
Sure.
But I think
Supporting
that as a supporting act, I think he's going to be the third factor, and then it's going to come down to Hamilton versus Vettel. I expect those two to be challenging, and this time I think you'll find out that Vettel, if he cuts out the mistakes, because we saw last season it was about the personal mistakes that Vettel made. Otherwise you don't want that championship
clean.
But he made too many personal mistakes. He needs to cut down on the personal mistakes, the unforced errors.
So Vettel.
Of course, I'm a Ferrari man. Vettel for the championship, and Ferrari for the constructors.
Bunj?
Mercedes all the way. Constructors and Hamilton.
Hamilton for the drivers. Chris?
I'm with Bunj, but Max Verstappen's going to be causing a few upsets, I think. He has this exuberance of youth and a little bit of recklessness that sometimes obviously gets him in trouble, but I think he's going to cause a few upsets this season, and he's the one to look out for.
Upset the apple cart. I'm going to go Vettel and Ferrari.
Surprise, surprise.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Talk professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in Florida, where Tommy Fleetwood made an ideal start to the Players' Championship as he ended an entertaining first round, tied for the lead with Keegan Bradley. Fleetwood's early 65 at TPC Sawgrass looked likely to earn him the outright lead, with conditions more difficult for the later starters, but he was reeled in by Bradley for the second week in succession by an opening day, which produced an albatross at the 11th and a spectacular hole-in-one for Ryan Moore at the 17th. The Players' Championship continues throughout the weekend. Over to California, world number 8 Angelique Kerber defeated Venus Williams to reach the semi-finals at Indian Wells. The 31-year-old German clinched her third semi-final in the event with a 7-6, 6-3 win over the American Williams in 1 hour and 36 minutes. In the men's singles, Frenchman Gaël Monfils was forced to withdraw from his quarterfinal against Dominic Thiem after suffering an Achilles injury. Austria's Thiem will face Canada's Milos Raonic in tomorrow's semi-final. Over to Hamilton, the Chiefs and the Hurricanes played out to an electric 23-23 draw this morning, leaving the home side still winless after 5 rounds. Both sides scored 2 converted tries and 2 penalties in a New Zealand derby, overshadowed by the Mosques attacks in Christchurch. In Australia, the Brumbies bounced back with an important 19-13 win over the Waratahs. Your Super Rugby fixtures: Stormers versus the Jaguares, the Sunwolves will be taking on the Reds, the Highlanders against the Crusaders, and the Lions versus the Rebels. Your Six Nations fixtures: round 5, final round, Italy versus France, Wales will take on Ireland, and England up against Scotland.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
It's competition time. If you sent your hashtag, you are likely to be one of our daily winners. If you come out of the draw, well, that is done by our producer, Sean. We've got somebody on the line who is likely to be our daily winner if they get 2 questions correctly, and could be our monthly winner of a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. The draw is taking place on the 29th of March. Quizmaster is Chris.
Thanks.
Confirm now. We just say master, chairman. It's nebulous, no matter the sex, because it's equality.
Come on,
the quiz.
Okay, I'll let this one slide for today, because I don't feel like arguing with you guys. So we have a caller on the line. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Kunjani ko Bulawayo? It's weird here. That was about all the Ndebele I could master. So what's your favorite sports team, Matthew?
Arsenal.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So you're with Sean on this one. No wonder he picked you. You probably had Arsenal on your profile picture, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Wakanda forever, brother.
2 questions for you, 1 local, 1 international. You ready?
Very.
Your first question: which Zimbabwean boxer was the last holder of the World Boxing Council, the WBC, silver welterweight belt? We talked about him a little bit earlier.
Correct.
Second one. and you could be in to win that 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. Which city is the Australian Grand Prix being held in? Is it Melbourne, Sydney, or Perth?
Melbourne.
Sharp. Lovely. Well done.
All right, so well done. You're going to be in the draw, of course, next week or Friday. Is it a couple of weeks' time? On Friday, the 29th of March. And, of course, the daily sports trivia proudly brought to you by Profeeds. And they have a host of stores that are located nationwide. You can find us in Banket, Gwanda, Kadoma, Mutare, Mvurwi, Norton, Govans, and Katanga. If you want to know exactly where, Njimbo, Plumtree, Rusape, Victoria Falls, Bulawayo, Banket, or even in Zhishavane. Opening soon. We're coming to, as Barry Manand would say, in Dombo Shava. Or I will say Dombo Shava Showgrounds and Muzarabani. In addition to our centers, we're stocking all Metro Peach and Brown stores, and Richards, and a host of other agents.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, the performance feed.
It's the Rumble in the Jungle as the Warriors of Zimbabwe take on the Red Devils of Congo in the Africa Cup Nations Qualifier. Yes, it's going down on the 24th of March 2019 live at the National Sports Stadium. Who will survive the inferno and stand out victorious? You don't want to miss this. So get your tickets now at www.clickandpay.africa. You can also purchase using EcoCash, Telecash, MasterCard, Visa, or ZimSwitch. All tickets to be bought in advance. That means no tickets at the gate. Tickets are going for $10 rest of the ground, $50 pay 15 to 18, and $200 for VIP. Entertainment from local and international artists. Gates will close at 1:30 p.m. and the match starts at 3 p.m. You've got to be there.
On the 15th of March 2019, ZiFM Stereo celebrates International Women's Day with a banquet at Nichols Hotel. The banquet is running under the theme #Balance for Better, and the dress code is ball gown. Please join us as we hear from our keynote speakers, Clara Mlambo and Dr. Hespina Rukato, among others. For bookings, contact Leah on 0777 142 777. Lois 0774 329 315. Lucy 0776 393 731. Don't miss this chance to mix, mingle, and enjoy. The event starts at 6 p.m. till late. See you there.
You can now do your banking on WhatsApp. Steward Bank. Pay your bills, buy your airtime, zip it, Zim Switch, EcoCash, pa WhatsApp, ipapo. Banking and social, same WhatsApp group. Steward Bank. Everyday banking for everyday people.
Crescent Play is unlike TV. Crescent Play stay entertained all day. Online streaming channels on your TV. For kids, entertainment. Movies, sports, and music. Gaming, travel, and more. Premium entertainment on Crescent Play. Watch it all, find it all. Crescent Play is unlike TV. Unlike TV, yeah. Crescent Play stay entertained all day. Crescent Play is unlike TV. Crescent Play stay entertained.
Get your Kwese Play device for just $59. Kwese Play. It's unlike TV.
Stay up to date with the latest sporting action and the freshest lineup of on-demand sports on Kwese iFlix. Immerse yourself. Bask in the glory of pulsating action anywhere, anytime. Welcome to the beautiful game on ZiFM Stereo. Brought to you by Kwese iFlix.
Kwese iFlix. Entertainment on the go.
Manchester United will face Barcelona in the Champions League quarter-finals, while Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur clash in an all-Premier League tie following this afternoon's draw. Liverpool were drawn to play FC Porto in the knockout rounds for the second year in succession, and Ajax Amsterdam's reward for eliminating holders Real Madrid is a two-leg tie against Cristiano Ronaldo and Juventus. Now, David Moyes, remember him? Dave believes Barcelona are the favourites for the Champions League, but says his former club, Manchester United, should have no fear in the quarter-final tie.
When you get to this stage of the competition, you're playing good teams. There's no real poor teams left in it, and I think if you're going to get through the quarter-final and you get to the semi-final, well, you're expecting to get one of the big boys. So if United can get through, then obviously they're going to have to play one of the really good teams in the competition. But United are one of the really good teams at this moment in time, so I don't think they'll fear MD. I think the Barcelona game's a great game. Maybe a little bit of, nothing to lose in it. I would see Barcelona as still favourites for the competition. So it'll be a really good game, and I think that'll be Ollie going back to the Camp Nou as well, which will be a big sort of moment for him as well.
So the first legs of the quarter-final ties will take place on April 9 and 10, with the second legs coming a week later on April 16 and 17. It's a quick turnaround, Barry. That's what I love about this stage of the competition. You play the first leg this week, next week is over and done with.
It's also good for the players because you got your momentum. The team that has won needs to carry on with what they were doing, and then the one that has lost has to think about what they need to do to turn the tie around. So it's absolutely fantastic for both the fans and indeed the teams that are participating. I love this format.
Alois, Barcelona, Manchester United. Any fears as a Manchester United fan?
Yeah, of course. Before the draw, Barcelona is the team that we really, I'm saying we, because I know that there are a lot of Manchester United fans out there who agree with me that Barcelona is the team that we didn't really want. You know what? They have inflicted pain on us before. We have played against them. They've beaten us twice in the final of this tournament, and we didn't want them. We expected maybe Porto, your Ajax, those kind of teams. But unfortunately, to win the Champions League, you have to beat the best. I think that they have to go for it. Yes, few years, but the game has to be played. So we'll see. But then the other thing is, after Barcelona, even if we beat them, then we have to face Liverpool again. Liverpool, they're most likely to beat Porto.
We hope so.
Yeah, most likely, yes. So it's going to be a very, very tough road for Manchester United to even think of winning this Champions League.
And it'll be a good test, isn't it, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Chris? If you take a look at the calibre of players that Barcelona have, they've got Lionel Messi, Suarez, Dembele, Coutinho, Arturo Vidal. These are world-class players, Busquets. So if Manchester United is to really judge themselves now as to where they are and where they sit in the rankings of European football, I think this year is probably a very good reflection. It will give them a very good indicator of the work they need to do to either catch up or to say, hey, we're not as bad as we thought.
Absolutely. It's going to let them know exactly where the holes are. But at the same time, the way that Manchester United has been playing, they've been playing a bit of defensive football. They've been sitting back. Barcelona is not the kind of team that you can really sit back and say, come at it. You can't do that and expect to play on the break. You can't do that with a team like Barcelona. So for me as a Manchester United fan, I'm a little bit teary-eyed. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult one. And United fans, we want to hear from you on 0731 168 045, Twitter and Facebook at ZiFM Sport. Barry, your team and Liverpool, it could have gone worse. But this is a very kind draw.
It could have been 10 times worse. We could have drawn Barcelona. But I think Liverpool with Porto, Liverpool will think to themselves, it's okay. We'll take Porto. Still need to be careful because I think at this stage of the competition you can't take anything for granted. It's a home tie to begin with. I think it is so for Liverpool, meaning that the business has to be done at Anfield. Keep them out and then try and get something in Portugal.
Are you encouraged though with the fact that Porto struggled versus Roma, and Roma are having a very mediocre season in Serie A, and they struggle to get over the line in that tie, and so Liverpool will look at Porto and say, you know what, if we play anywhere near our best, if we play anywhere near the level that we did versus Bayern Munich, it should be comfortable versus Porto.
Absolutely. I think Liverpool, when they are up for a game, Liverpool is as good as any team in the world. It's a question of when the team sort of lets their guard down and thinks to themselves, well, we're going to walk this, that the problems start coming up. But certainly I'm enthused by the fact that Porto struggled against Roma.
Alois, Tottenham versus Manchester City, a very interesting one, that one. It's an all-English affair, and I'm looking at Pep and I'm thinking, you know what, he's probably saying to himself, he probably didn't want an English team. I think he could have taken any of the other teams, because English teams guarantee you high octane, high intensity, very physical matches. And in the context of not just the Champions League but also the race for the title with Liverpool in England, these two matches are going to be very physically taxing on his side.
Yeah, exactly. When you look at the situation right now, it's not just physical, it's also psychological as well, because there's going to be war in the newspapers and amongst the fans and all that. It takes strain as well on the players and on the coach as well. So it's a match that he didn't want. The drama, the drama as well, he didn't want it. Maybe he could have wanted them in the final. But it has to be played. But when you want to look at the strengths of the teams, I think he can actually say, okay, Spurs are a better opposition we can beat than some of the European teams.
But it'll still be a challenge, won't it, Chris? Considering that they play Spurs 3 times. It's not just 2 times in the Champions League. They're playing them also in the league. So they're playing them, I think, 3 times within 10 days.
So that is going to be a very tough mental test, and not just tough in terms of the Champions League, but when they're now looking at the English Premier League, they're going to be saying, you know what, these guys are sitting in third, we're sitting right at the top, and if we can't possibly beat them in the league or in the Champions, so it affects both sides, the Champions League and the English Premier League.
Okay, let's give you that draw again. Ajax takes on Juventus. A very good chance there for Cristiano Ronaldo to steer Juve into the semi-finals of the Champions League. But a plucky Ajax, who deposed off the champions Real Madrid, will probably look at this and say, hey, there stands another giant, another opportunity for glory. Liverpool takes on Porto. Tottenham versus Manchester City in an all-English affair. And then the tie of the round sees Barcelona taking on Manchester United. It also, of course, gives us an indication as to how things will go in the semi-finals, because the draw for the semi-finals was done, meaning that the winner of Tottenham and Manchester City will take on the winner of Ajax versus Juventus. The winner of Manchester United versus Barcelona will take on the winners of Liverpool versus Porto. So the dream final for UEFA is on. Juventus featuring Cristiano Ronaldo taking on Barcelona featuring Lionel Messi.
So we take you further. Some more news in Europe. Arsenal have been handed a tough assignment in the quarterfinals of the Europa League after being drawn against Napoli, while Chelsea will face Slavia Prague. In the other 2 ties, there's an all-Spanish tie featuring Villarreal taking on Valencia, while 3-time runners-up Benfica will take on Eintracht Frankfurt. Taking a look at that Arsenal team, Alois, they tend to be a little bit inconsistent. You don't know which Arsenal is going to show up. But when Arsenal's having a good day, they're having a really good day. It's a tough assignment for them, but how do you think they'll do against Napoli?
When I look at Arsenal, the way they played against Manchester United, I actually tend to give them the nod. I think that they will do well. Napoli is also one of the teams that are not consistent, even in the Italian Serie A. And with the way they're high in confidence, Arsenal, and the strike force, the way they go forward and attack, I was impressed. The way they go forward. If they do that, if they bring their best foot forward, if they bring their best team, I'm sure that they will walk past Napoli.
So the first legs of The ties will take place on the 11th of April, with the return leg 7 days later on the 18th of April. The rest of the Europa League quarterfinal draw: Napoli will take on Arsenal, Villarreal versus Valencia, Benfica will take on Eintracht Frankfurt, Slavia Prague versus Chelsea. And so from that we can see that the winner of Napoli versus Chelsea will play the winners of Villarreal versus Valencia. The winners between Benfica and Eintracht Frankfurt will play the winners of Slavia Prague versus Chelsea.
Zimbabwe's finest three. ZiFM Stereo.
Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
Mauro Icardi's ongoing standoff with Inter looms over this weekend's derby showdown against AC Milan at the San Siro. The striker was stripped of the club's captaincy in February and is yet to return to training following a knee problem, despite head coach Luciano Spalletti stating that he has been cleared by Inter's medical staff. Meanwhile, Poland's Krzysztof Piatek has been in a revelation since joining Milan from Genoa in January, and the rivals' contrasting form of late can partially be explained by the contributions of their leading centre forwards. And those contrasting lives, as it were, of those two centre forwards are likely to decide this fixture, because Piatek has been he's set the stage alight. Mauro Icardi still moaning and grumbling.
Yeah, I can't see past AC Milan for victory in this one.
Yep.
I think in terms of form, just in terms of ability, especially as reflected by the teams over the last 2 months, AC Milan have turned a corner and they're playing very good football, and I expect them to win the Milan derby. Inter Milan have been blowing hot and cold, more often cold than hot, and so for me, I can only say it's a derby though, so you never know which way, which Inter Milan side will show up, but I back Milan to do the business.
Well done, thank you very much. I like that. I'm in Azurifan, and I think that they would do it. They've been coming out of their shell. We spoke about it. They signed a lot of players, then they didn't click and all that. But it looks like they are reclaiming their place in Italian football. They just need a few touch-ups here and there. They've got the name already, the stadium and everything. I think they need to beat Inter Milan to actually claim and actually confirm that they are really going up on the radar and reclaiming their place in the Italian Serie A.
Your Serie A fixtures for this week in: Cagliari versus Fiorentina, Sassuolo versus Sampdoria, Spal entertain Roma, Torino versus Bologna, Genoa versus Juventus, Atalanta versus Chievo, Empoli entertain Frosinone, while Parma travel to Lazio, Napoli versus Udinese, and of course it's the big Milan derby at the San Siro, the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium, AC Milan versus Inter Milan.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Let's just give you your Bundesliga fixtures as well as La Liga action. Borussia Mönchengladbach takes on Freiburg, Augsburg versus Hannover, Schalke 04 versus Red Bull Leipzig, Stuttgart versus Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg will entertain Fortuna Düsseldorf, Bayer Leverkusen versus Werder Bremen, Eintracht Frankfurt will entertain Nuremberg, Bayern Munich versus Mainz, and Hertha Berlin takes on Borussia Dortmund. In Spain, Real Sociedad takes on Levante, Huesca hosts Alaves, Real Madrid versus Celta Vigo, Athletic Club versus Atletico Madrid in the pick of the fixtures, Leganes versus Girona, Eibar versus Real Valladolid, Espanyol takes on Sevilla, Valencia versus Getafe, Villarreal versus Rayo Vallecano, and Real Betis takes on Barcelona.
All the rivalry.
The captain likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the up updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
Inform Romelu Lukaku will need a late fitness test ahead of Manchester United's FA Cup quarter-final against Wolves tomorrow due to a sore foot. So Lukaku has regained his position as first-choice striker in recent weeks and has scored 6 goals in his last 4 games. His double against PSG helped United overturn a first-leg defeat to reach the Champions League quarter-finals. Your FA Cup fixtures this weekend: Watford versus Crystal Palace, Swansea City versus Manchester City, Millwall will take on Brighton and Hove Albion, Wolves will take on Manchester United. Some more news for you with their rivals involved in the FA Cup quarter-final action tomorrow. Liverpool and Chelsea have the opportunity to seize the initiative in their quest for Premier League and top 4 success, respectively, sitting just a point behind leaders Manchester City. Jurgen Klopp's Reds could regain top spot with victory away to relegation-threatened Fulham, while on the same day, Chelsea sitting in 6th and 3 points below 4th-placed Arsenal could heap pressure on the Gunners with 3 points away at inconsistent Everton. Those Premier League fixtures: Bournemouth versus Newcastle United, Burnley will take on Leicester City, West Ham versus Huddersfield, Fulham versus Liverpool, and Everton versus Chelsea. Now, Liverpool and looking right now to probably regain their top spot. Likelihood is they get a win away from Fulham.
Yeah, I think so. I think Liverpool are pumped up at the moment. They have a lot of confidence, a lot of belief. I love Virgil van Dijk. I mean, what a player. What a player. And I believe that these are games that Virgil van Dijk can carry on staking a claim to be the best in England. And I honestly believe, depending on how Liverpool plays in the Champions League, Virgil van Dijk is slowly creeping up onto that podium for the Ballon d'Or. I really believe he's that good.
Absolutely. And you can see the leadership when he's playing on that field, and all the other players basically rallying around him every time you watch a Liverpool match.
They love him. The players love him. You can actually see it. And he has got that aura. He has got that magnet. You can actually feel that everybody wants to be around him. He has done well. He has already done it. He's signed and sealed. He is the English Player of the Year. That is sealed. He just needs to see Liverpool doing well in the Champions League for him to go on the podium with the Ballon d'Or, like Mike said.
The beating drum. The roaring fans. Take a ride on the wild side with the Africa Report on ZiFM Sport.
All right, just a reminder that the CAF Champions League fixtures this weekend. It's a full bill, and FC Platinum is in action at Barbourfields Stadium versus Esperance.
The beautiful game, brought to you by Kwese.
Turn your TV into an entertainment hub and choose what you want to watch with the all-new Kwese Play device. You can enjoy seamless entertainment streaming on apps such as Kwese iFlix, Netflix, YouTube, and Al Jazeera. You can watch unlimited online entertainment from live sport events, movies, series, top kids shows, and you can even play games on video channels. Get your Kwese Play device today at zwstore.kwese.com, or you can visit your nearest Econet shop for only $59.
We're done. Have a great weekend. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
Catch all your favorite sporting action on Kwese iFlix. Download Kwese iFlix today on Google Play Store or Apple App Store and enjoy entertainment on the go. That was the beautiful game, brought to you by Kwese iFlix.
Kwese iFlix, entertainment on the go.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.